Do you feel like your child might be struggling more than some other children their age, but you're not really sure if something is going on? Well, if so, stay tuned because we're going to talk about some things that may help you get clarity on that and figure out the next steps. So, before we get started, hi, I'm Dr. Keena, and I'm the founder of Thrive Parent Collective. And it's my goal to empower parents like you to feel confident in supporting your children in their learning and development. And on this channel, we talk about that, and I'll also share some insights from my homeschooling and world schooling journey. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, please be sure to subscribe. So I am not only a mom, but I am also a speech language pathologist, educational audiologist, and learning specialist. And so I've worked with a lot of families who have dealt with that question of trying to figure out is there something deeper going on with my child's learning, development, or academic struggles? And so in this video, we'll talk about some of the key signs to look for. And if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at some notes. I don't want to forget anything. We'll talk about some key signs of learning differences and what you can do in order to support your child. So what are some of the signs that your child may be experiencing or faced with a learning difference? We'll talk about a few different categories. So first, academic difficulties. If your child is struggling with reading, writing, math, spelling, and it seems like it's more of a global issue rather than maybe one specific thing, and it seems like it needs to be taught multiple times, taught over and over, and they just don't seem to be catching on, there may be something deeper going on there. And I would like to just make a point that for some reason society has decided that it's okay to just not be good at math. Like, oh, I'm bad at math. And no judgment to anybody who may say that. One, I want to encourage you not to lean into that as an identity, but the same way that there are reading and writing disabilities like dyslexia, there is dyscalculia, which is a math-based learning disability. So it's not just expected that somebody won't be good at math. So if you're noticing challenges in that area, do take them seriously because there is intervention available for that. But so just noting, in the academic arena, do there just seem to be some global difficulties present with those core skills, reading, writing, spelling, math? And even in the younger years, before they are expected to be fluent readers, does it seem like there are more challenges with learning and remembering sound letter correspondences, learning and remembering letters, recognizing letters, things like that? So that's something to keep in mind. Are there memory issues? Does your child seem to have a hard time remembering instructions or things that they just learned? Is this something that you are noticing at home? Does the teacher note it or notice it and mention that to you as well? And then another area may be attention problems. Does it seem like your child is having difficulty staying focused, difficulty paying attention or sustaining attention, difficulty with following directions? Those can be, that can be a difficulty that we see sometimes with learning differences. You may also notice some challenges with organization issues, and that can look like difficulty staying organized in terms of materials, being able to arrange things on their desk neatly or put things in the appropriate spot in their room. It can also look like difficulty with carrying out tasks that require multiple steps, or difficulty with putting their thoughts together, putting their thoughts in an expressing their thoughts in an organized way. And then another area that you may notice challenges with is motor skills. So this can be your gross motor skills like walking. They may seem like a clumsy kid. There may be challenges with fine motor skills. You may notice like difficulty with tying shoes, difficulty with handwriting, and maybe manipulating buttons, things like that. So I want to make sure to note that difficulty in one of these areas or noticing some challenge in one of these areas doesn't necessarily mean that there is a learning disability or learning difference present, because there is a range of normal. But if you're noticing a few of these different things, or if you're noticing that there are some persistent challenges, then that may be a sign that there is something else going on. And so if you are a bit concerned, you can start to observe and actually document some of your observations. And so you can write down some of the things that you're noticing, some of the challenges that you're seeing, and it may be helpful to consult with the teacher if your child attends school, or if your child attends another kind of program, just to see if some of the things that you're noticing are apparent in that other setting. So, for example, a teacher is going to be able to tell you, does it seem like your child is on par with their peers? Because sometimes we may think like, oh, this is, it seems like they're struggling, but then you see, like, let's say you have a 7-year-old, but then you go and you see them with all the other 7-year-olds, and like, oh, none of them are listening. Or not, like none of them seem to understand the task. And so some of that can be reassuring. But sometimes you may notice, like if you ask a teacher, they may be able to say, you know what, I do notice that little Johnny is seeming to have a little bit more difficulty with this, and then they can keep an eye on it. And then this is also helpful if you do decide to go for further evaluation, further testing, then your observations as the parent are definitely going to be taken into account when the clinician does their evaluation and draws their conclusions. So that's going to be helpful information regardless. And so then you may be wondering, all right, when do I decide to seek help, or how do I know if I need to go and talk to a professional to seek an evaluation? And really, if you as the parent feel like it is affecting your child's well-being, their confidence, if it's really affecting their confidence and the child is noticing some challenges, then I would say that's definitely a reason to move forward. But if you are noticing some difficulties, if it's affecting their ability to thrive and fully achieve in all areas of their development academically, then I would recommend getting an evaluation to rule out any potential challenges. Now, I feel like it's always best to err on the side of caution, because early intervention is key. The earlier we intervene to give students appropriate interventions and supports, the better their trajectory is going to be. And it also helps to increase their confidence so that they're not developing an identity associated with being bad at particular tasks. And something to note is that sometimes there is a hereditary component to some of these things. So like if you remember struggling to learn to read or being bad at math or those kinds of things, if you have organizational challenges and you see that in your child, that's okay. And so it can help you understand them and perhaps intervene and provide the necessary support. So you absolutely can help to offset some of the challenges that they may experience. So ultimately, you know your child better than anyone, and really I just want you to trust your instincts. If you're seeing some signs and patterns that concern you, then I highly recommend that you consult a professional, and you can pursue a screening or evaluation. A screening will determine whether further evaluation is needed. And if you talk to a professional clinician, whether that's a speech language pathologist, occupational therapist, psychologist, and you tell them about your concerns, then they should be able to give you some advice on how to proceed. So if you found this video helpful, please like and give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more parenting tips, and please drop a comment below with any questions or challenges that you may be facing, or any suggestions that you may have to somebody else who's struggling with making the decision about how to proceed or whether or not to find out more about their children's abilities. So thanks so much, and I'll see you all in the next video.